Hey guys, my name is Mike, and this is Math Tutoring with Mike. Hey, before we jump into our video, there are just a few things that I would like to review with you. The first thing is that I want to implore that at the end of this video, by the time that you reach the end of this video, I want to make sure that you understand the principles that we went over today in this video. So if you have to stop the video at any point in time, that you're confused, or if you have to rewind, I really want to suggest that you do that. The second thing is that after you've reached the end of this video, that you actually go back and try solving the example problems on your own. Doing this, I find, is very important with cementing the theories and cementing the understanding, that you actually understand what was reviewed. So, thirdly, chances are you came to this video with a specific problem that you had. If at the end of this video you realize that I have not addressed the specific problem that you are looking to solve, I invite you to leave me a comment or shoot me an email with your specific problem or specific question. And you have my word, I'll do my best to either preparing another video or reaching out to you personally how to solve that particular problem. Anyway guys, so on to our video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to multiply decimals. Multiplication of decimals is much like multiplying positive integers. The only difference is that now you have the decimals. You have the numbers that come after the decimals. So we'll see how do we multiply decimals here. Okay, and I think at the same time maybe we'll get a refresher on how to multiply positive integers. Okay, so let's look at a few examples of how. Well, first of all, let's do a recap of how to multiply two numbers. Let's say a two-digit number, shall we? So if you recall, first thing we do is we want to look at this number here. We say we want to multiply the 2 with the 8, which gives us 16. Bring down the 6, you carry the 1. And then you say this 2 multiplied by this 2 is 4, plus this 1 is equal to 5. Okay. And now we want to look at the second number, which is 1. We say now, well, before we do that, actually, we put a number there, put a 0 there. Okay. Or we just indent, which means that the first number would automatically be started in this spot here. Okay. But I just like to put a 0 so I don't forget that I always want to start here on my second line. Okay, so I say I take this 1 and multiply it by the 8 here. 1 times 8 is equal to 8. And then this 1 multiplied by the 2. 1 times 2 is equal to 2. So now the next step is you add it up. And just like with additions, we always start with the rightmost digit, which is the ones place. So we say 6 plus 0 is 6. 8 plus 5 is equal to 13. Carry the 1. And then 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. So this is how we multiply, just to recap. Okay, now let's look at multiplying decimals. Let's just say we had a number 28.1 and we multiplied it by 12.2. What do? Okay, we have the same procedure that we're following. Okay, we want to look at this first digit here. So unlike addition and subtraction, where the decimal point automatically moves down, when we do multiplication, that rule does not apply. So I'll show you what happens with the decimal point, okay? So we look at the 2 and we multiply it by the 1. 2 times 1 is 2. And we look at this 2 and multiply it by the 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 is 5. Now we look at the second 2. Second 2 here. We say this 2 multiplied by this 1 is 2. Remember, we indent, or what I would do is I would add a 0, so I don't forget. Okay, so 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. And carry the 1. And this 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Okay, and then what I would do again is I would add now, since I'm going to go now to the third integer, which is the 1, I would add now 2 zeros to the third line. So I would say 1 times 1 equals 1. 1 times 8 equals to 8. 1 times 2 equals to 2. And if you recall, we want to make sure you don't get messed up with these, the 1s or the 2s that would carry over from previous numbers. Okay. Secondly, you always want to make sure that, you always want to make sure that you're keeping those numbers lined up. Okay. So now what do is I go and add all the 3 numbers. When I say 2 plus 0 is 2. 6 plus 2 plus 0 is 8. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 1 is 12. Bring down the 2, carry the 1. 8 plus 5 is 13, plus 1 is 14. Carry the 4, and carry the 1. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay. Now here's where we take into account the decimal numbers. Now all the numbers to the right of the decimal we're gonna circle, okay, and we're gonna count it. So this is 1, this is 2. So which means there are 2 numbers to the right of the decimal. So what we do is we assume that there's a decimal here and we carried 1, 2. Okay. So this the product of the 2 decimals here would be 342.82. Okay, let's go to our calculator. Go to your calculator and let's just do a double check to make sure that's correct. Okay, so if we hit 28.1 in our calculator, and if we multiply it by 12.2, you should get an answer of 342.82, which we just found. Okay, this is how we multiply decimals. Let's look at another example, and feel free to pause the video at any time, if you want to catch up or check for yourself on the calculator. Let's look at another example, shall we? If we have, let's say we have, still here, let's say we have 4, they want to include more decimals, so you'll see that it always adds up or equal 4.24 times 0.12. Okay, what do we do? Well, the principles are always the same. It's always the same. Okay, so what we do is we look at the first number to the right on the bottom. We say that this 2 multiplied by this 4 is equal to 8. And then we look at the next one. This 2 multiplied by this 2 is a 4. This 2 multiplied by this 0, 2 times 0 is 0. Now remember, we don't look at We don't take into account the decimal point where it goes now. We do that at the very end. Okay, and then we say, now this 2 multiplied by this 4 is 8. Okay, so we're done now with the first digit. Now we look at multiplying the 1. Since we moved on to our second digit, means we're going to now look at our second line. So we want to just put a 0 there, or just simply start at this point. It's totally up to you. But like I said, I always put the 0 to help me to understand or not get confused. So we say that this 1 multiplied by this 4 is 4. And notice I'm lining it up underneath the 4. This 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. 1 multiplied by 0 is 0. 1 multiplied by 4 is 4. Okay? Now we look at the third number. And just to be consistent, the third number in this case is 0. Since we're looking at the third number now, we have to start with the third line. So since it's a third line, we add now 2 zeros. Or we just start in this position here, the third position underneath the 2. So 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 2 is equal to 0. 0 times 0 is equal to 0. 0 times 4 equal to 0. So at the end of it, you notice that all the numbers would line up. It's important that you keep the numbers lined up. Okay, so now once we're done with that, now next thing we're going to do is we're going to add all together. And actually, let me put that line back so you'll see what we're adding. Okay, so 8 plus 0 is 8. 4 plus 4 was 8, plus 0 is 8. 0 plus 2 plus 0 is 2. 8 plus 0 is 8. 4 plus 0 is 4. 0 brings down a 0. Okay? And as a last step, now we're going to circle and count all of the numbers behind the decimal point. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 numbers behind the decimal point. So what that means is that we move the decimal point from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which means the number would be 0.48288. Go on your calculator and verify that what we just found is actually true. Okay, 48288. I want to show you something. And that is, well, never mind. So there you go, guys. How to multiply decimal points. So you've made it to the end of the video. Good deal. I really hope that you understood what was reviewed today. Like I said earlier on in the video, I really think it's a good idea that you go back and try to solve the example problems on your own. That way you can prove to yourself and you can help assure that you actually understand the problems. Well, until next time, with another tutoring session, another math tutoring session with Mike. See you guys.